Have you ever felt like the goalposts at work are just moving faster and faster? Well, you're not going crazy. We are right in the middle of this massive global online learning boom. It's literally changing careers as we speak. So, what's really driving this huge race to upskill? Let's dig in.
Okay, look at this number, 195%. And no, that is not a typo. That's the growth year over year in people signing up for generative AI courses. Calling this a trend just doesn't cut it. Honestly, it's an explosion. We've never seen anything like this in professional learning, ever. So that brings us to the big question, right? Why is everyone scrambling to learn new skills all at the same time? It's not just about some new shiny tech. The answer goes way deeper. It's about a massive shift in how we even think about work. All right, so our first section here is what we're calling the Great Skill Upgrade. And, that name is deliberate. This isn't just about learning a few new things here and there. Nope, this is a total top-to-bottom overhaul of what it even means to be competitive in the job market today. And look, this pressure isn't just you trying to get ahead. It is absolutely coming from the top down. I mean, check this out. A whopping 82% of managers say their people need to get more training at least once a year just to keep up. That old buzzword, lifelong learning, yeah, it's not a buzzword anymore. It's a requirement. Okay, so if everyone's learning, the next question is, what are they learning? Let's take a look at the data and see what skills are really taking over. Wow, okay, the numbers here are pretty stark. Tech and business courses, they make up almost 3/4 of all signups. So let's be clear. This isn't people learning to bake sourdough or play the ukulele. This is about professional survival. The message couldn't be clearer. People are upskilling to protect and advance their careers. And that leads us to a really crucial point. Being comfortable with tech isn't just for coders anymore, not by a long shot. It's becoming a basic requirement for almost everyone. It's like the new cost of entry for a good career, no matter what field you're in. Just look at this list of best-selling courses. It tells you everything you need to know. Do you see apartment here? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Google AI Essentials, AI Engineer, Google Data Analytics. It's all AI, all data. And here's the other key thing. Look who's offering them. Google, big names. People are flooding to these corporate-backed certificates because, let's face it, they scream, "I'm ready for the job," to any hiring manager. All this focus on job skills brings us right to the money. Who's footing the bill for a lot of this? The corporations themselves. So let's shift gears from the individual learner to the huge corporate investment that's really fueling this whole thing. And let's be real, companies aren't doing this to be nice. This is pure business strategy. It's all being driven by some pretty impressive numbers and a very, very clear return on investment. Okay, get this. This number comes from IBM. For every single dollar a company spends on online training for an employee, they get back $30 in productivity, a 30-to-1 return. That is just an insane ROI. And it's not just about what happens inside the company. Think about customers. When companies take the time to teach their customers how to use their stuff, they see product adoption jump by an average of 38%. It makes sense, right? Better training means happier, stickier customers. And then there's the bottom line, sales. Salespeople who get ongoing training, they pull in 50% higher net sales. 50%! I mean, when the numbers are this good, is it any surprise that companies are pouring money into training?
All right, so we've covered the why and the what. But what about the how? How is all this learning actually getting to people? Well, the tech behind it has had its own little revolution.
This comparison right here just nails it. We used to have the old LMS, the Learning Management System. Think of it like a boring required reading list your boss handed you. Now we've moved to the LXP, the Learning Experience Platform. And this is completely different. It's all about you, the learner. It's personalized. It helps you discover things. It's basically Netflix for your career. And the way these new platforms work is just smarter. It's designed for how we live now. You've got microlearning in tiny, bite-sized pieces that boost how much you remember by up to 60%. It's mobile first, because that's where 70% of us feel more motivated to learn. Of course, AI is in there, tailoring everything just for you. And they even throw in some gamification, making it like a game, which can crank up engagement by almost half. It's a whole new ballgame, and it works so much better. Okay, so you've got this insane demand, you've got companies pouring money into it, you've got all this cool new tech. You'd think the companies making these platforms would be rolling in cash, right? Well, Not exactly. And that brings us to our final section, what we're calling the EdTech paradox. First, let's just get a sense of how big this is. EdTech, that's the whole educational technology industry, is huge. We're not talking small potatoes. It's a global market that's estimated to be worth more than $185 billion just this year. And this market is growing like crazy. Just take a look at a big name like Udemy. Their revenue more than doubled in just 4 years. You can't argue with that kind of growth. It's just massive. But here's the twist. Because all that explosive growth, all that revenue, it's hiding a pretty big problem. And this is the paradox. Even with all that money coming in, a lot of these big ed tech companies are actually losing money. Why? Well, it turns out it costs a fortune to run these things. You've got huge fees to license the courses, you have to spend a ton on marketing just to get noticed, and you're constantly spending on research and development. So the strange truth is, while we're all in a frenzy to learn, the very companies making it possible are just struggling to break even. So all this leaves us with one last thing to think about. In this digital arms race where today's hot new skill is tomorrow's old news, what's the one thing that will actually make your career future-proof? Maybe it's not about learning one specific thing, like AI. Maybe the most important skill of all is just learning how to learn, how to adapt, unlearn, and relearn again and again. That might be the real secret.